Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the Joe Hoff Show. Glad you are here. It is 1 o'clock on the East Coast, and what is that across the nation? Subtract an hour. Anyways, glad to be here. We got a lot going on. A lot's going on in the news. Got a great guest. We're gonna blow you away today with another great show. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for supporting our supporters. Thanks for supporting me. One way you can, by the way, is go out and purchase my books. I've got actually think it's 6 books that I've written. So I'm going to be sharing a couple of those books, I believe, at least three on the steel, in a couple of weeks in St. Louis. And so I want to remind you about that. There's an event. Myself and Ann Vandersteel are going to be keynote speakers. And there's my books, by the way. You can purchase those at joehoff.com. Anyways, I'll be in St. Louis, with Ann Vandersteel. We're the keynote speakers there this in a week and a half. I was thinking Monday or Friday, I did a show with Marley Hornick and was thinking it was coming this weekend, but no, it was 2 weekends from last Friday. So we'll be there the 4th through the 6th. I speak at noon on the 5th, which would be Saturday, and Ann will be sharing that evening as well. So should be a great time, a lot of information, great group, and we're just a bunch of people trying to save this country. That's all I can say. And whether you want to support us, purchase our books, support our advertisers, whatever you can do, we really appreciate it. I want you to know that. And I'll be sharing some notes about our advertisers here before break. So keep that in mind. I appreciate all your help, and just even a prayer would be really nice. You don't have to let us know that you're doing that, but that's surely appreciated more than anything. More than anything, I think I shared this the other day. I was with my mom years ago, and I was thinking, well, I guess I should just pray for this person. My mom said that's the best thing you can do, and she was right. She was a good woman, real good woman. I think she was a saint actually. So really blessed in that regard. Really, really blessed. Take things for granted, don't we? Anyways, lots going on in the world of uh, the United States and the battle over the versus the deep state over the freedoms, rights, and continuance of God's blessing in this country around the world. America has been the beacon and the light for all countries. I tell you, it lost it under Biden for 4 years. There were really bad people coming to this country, and there are people taking advantage of Joe Biden, his senility. We don't even know who was running the country. We didn't know the entire time he wasn't able to be president when he was stole that election, and he didn't steal it. He was told he was the winner, and he's just a big fool. And I don't think he believed it. I think he's still really, really corrupt, even though he was old. Just really a kind of a disgusting guy. It's like no wonder Barack Obama picked him for his vice president, almost as sleazy as Obama. So those were dark times. Those were dark times around the world. With the United States strong and free, the world can be strong and free. There's always hope. And if not, if you're in a place that's not strong and free, you can move to the US and know you'll be safe. And under Obama, under Biden, we lost that. They tried to destroy this country. I saw a tweet earlier today showing George Soros saying he hates this country. And a quote, I guess, from Newsweek back some time ago. And then another quote where he's saying, "Yeah, I just want to destroy this country. I just hate this country." I mean, he is a monster. He helped the Nazis in World War II. He helped them by identifying Jews, sending them off to their death camp, and then stealing their booty. So his family got rich during World War II, and then they played the victim card afterwards, saying they were Jews in Nazi Germany or Nazi Europe. They were anything but that. They were working with the Nazis. What a disgusting guy. And then somehow he gets a passport to this country. Why is that guy not arrested today? I don't understand it. Charge him with war crimes. I really don't understand it. This is the kind of things you have to do to remain and keep your freedom. You cannot allow crooks and criminals into your country like Biden was doing by the day. And so anyways, it's we've got a battle ahead of us. Trump won. It's great. It's awesome. Everything he's doing, I think, is fantastic. We got some questions about this new CDC hire. I would venture to guess that that's what Bobby Kennedy had to do to get the vote from that disgusting, pig-headed GOP senator from Louisiana, Dr. Cassidy. What a snake he is. He's just gross. Susan Collins, same thing. So many of these Republican senators, they're just disgusting. And no doubt there had to be some bartering done to get JFK in. And what a travesty. What a travesty for America, this CDC person that's been put up. And I'm sure both Trump and Bobby Kennedy are thrown up. Can't wait to fire the person and bring somebody new in once Cassidy's gone. That Cassidy's a snake. Anyways, we need to clean up. We got a lot of work to do. We got to clean house. We got to win our elections. But remember, if you don't have free and fair elections, you're totally screwed. So but Trump's doing it. He's doing all he can. And we're going to start off the show this afternoon with an incredible, really great piece from Newt Gingrich talking about what President Trump's doing and how he's taking on the deep state. Watch this.
There are two different things going on here with the Democrats. The first is they are watching with terror as all the different sources of government money that has propped them up for the last 60 or 70 years, all of it is now being challenged by President Trump and by Elon Musk. I mean, this cuts at the very base of their coalition. And if they can't bribe people, if they can't act corruptly, if they can't take care of their friends, their entire coalition is going to collapse. Second, you have a very large part of the Democratic Party for whom the beliefs you were describing, transgenderism, for example, are religious beliefs. This is a secular religion. They can't unlock because they believe these things. They believe in an open border. They believe that there really is no such thing as America. They believe that it's really good to have millions of people flood into this country. It's really good to have people who don't have to work, that work requirements are inherently bad. All of these things are a semi-religious or religious belief system, and that's why they can't unlock. It's not rational. They can't sit down and do a common sense analysis. They're instead trapped into being for things that are profoundly unpopular with most Americans.
There's an untold story behind this money, too, because Congress has a duty called oversight. And there were senators and congresspeople that were asking USAID, for example, and other departments for an accounting of their money. They would get back nebulous, obscure, obtuse answers, which tells me that the Democrats knew what they were doing. They knew the American people would not want their money spent this way, but they did it anyway, and then they basically lied to the American people and would not disclose the true nature of the spending that was actually going on.
Look, I mean, you have to accept that there was a lobbyist bureaucratic empire, that empire took your money, gave it to its friends, even if they were totally incompetent, and then you'll find case after case where your money went out to systems that just don't work. That's crazy. And at that time, they were taking care of themselves. What makes President Trump potentially the most consequential president since Abraham Lincoln is the fact that he's taking a sledgehammer and he is pounding the establishment in a way that no one has since Franklin Roosevelt created it in the 1930s. He's the first person, and I'm a great fan of Ronald Reagan. Reagan defeated the Soviet Empire, but he didn't try to take on the American establishment. Trump has had the guts to go straight at it, and I think the American people are going to be with him, even more so when they learn how really sickeningly bad it is.
And there you have it. We're learning terrible things about this government. We're also learning that the CIA was involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy, that LBJ was. This is some sick stuff, and it's good that this is all coming out now so that we can make some major changes in this country to protect the American citizens in this country and its future. So big stuff there. I saw this morning also, they're not stopping, Trump and Elon. They're moving forward. It doesn't matter what the left says. It does not matter. Nobody's listening anyways. Everything they do is astroturfed. As we noted yesterday with AOC and Bernie, the whole thing was just made up. And a bunch of people that were at the Kamala Harris rallies getting paid to go to these rallies. So it's a joke. It's a joke. They're using probably our taxpayer dollars to push through these fake events that they put together and get a couple people there. It's unbelievable. Nobody cares about AOC and Bernie and the communist agenda they have. Nobody likes it. Only just the far, far left nut jobs and fascists and communists in this country that then use the word Nazis and call us Nazis. They're insane, is what they are. So yeah, Elon's going after consulting firms now too. So he's not stopping. We're going to keep moving forward. We've got to get this country fixed and quick.
DOGE is turning its attention to massive government contracts, and consulting firms are scrambling to justify their funding. Hillary Vaughn is following all of this. Hillary?
Hi, Dagan. Well, these firms have just a week to write their own report card. The General Services Administration sending a letter to top consulting firms telling them to grade themselves on how exactly they are spending billions in taxpayer cash. The letter saying they need to, quote, identify each related contract and project and further break down spending by functional category in simple layman terms. A 15-year-old should be able to understand what service you provide and why it is so important. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said the chokehold these consulting firms have on government spending has shocked him the most since he moved to D.C. and started opening up the books.
One of the biggest surprises for me is just seeing how these entrenched interests just keep constricting themselves around the power, around the money, around the systems, and nobody cares. Many of the employees are fantastic. It's this consultant group who has they're like a boa constrictor, they're like a python. They've got themselves
No pun intended.
The problem is systemic. DOGE saying that these consulting groups write contracts so that they are paid for time, not performance, saying, quote, there's a pattern across all agencies where IT modernization contracts do not pay for outcomes performance. Instead, they pay for time. Therefore, the incentive is for contractors to never finish, resulting in incredible waste. One example of this, IRS modernization. That's a contract that was supposed to be a 6-year deal to upgrade IRS systems by 1996. 29 years later, it is still in progress, and it is $15 billion over budget and counting. Dagan?
Thank you so much, Hillary Vaughn in Washington.
Yeah, just terrible, terrible. I heard about that IRS contract, been going on for 30 years, 5 years, still to go, they're saying, and $15 billion over budget. That doesn't sound so smart. I don't know any company in the U.S. that can do that. No way. People would be losing their jobs a long time ago. I've seen some big projects fail in corporations, but nothing like that. That's outrageous. Because, corporations got to make a profit. And at some point they say, stop, just stop it all. We're going to, we'll outsource whatever. We've got to find a different solution and different people to run any project that's failing like that. That'd be outrageous in the real world, in the corporate world. The Secretary of HUD came on. He was pointing out how, most Americans that needed housing didn't get it. It's because Biden, under the Biden years, this horror period, really the dark years in this country, they were spending money on illegals, not on Americans. Are you kidding me? Anyways, take a look at what he has to say.
The Biden administration was completely irresponsible, and the border security and immigration policies were very harmful to our country, so much that they prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. And so, as you alluded to before, Secretary Noem and I, we put an end to that yesterday with our partnership and MOU to make sure that the American citizens, American people, are not only prioritized, but they are the only priority when it comes to HUD-funded public housing instead of illegal aliens. I mean, right now, Maria, we serve 1 out of 4 Americans in need of public housing. Well, that's going to change. We should be serving 4 out of 4, every American that needs public housing to this point. And so this MOU will allow us to do that and ensure that the American people are taken care of.
Well, there you have it. 1 out of 4 Americans were getting the need that and the housing they needed under the Biden years. Most of the money was going to illegals. Of course, we saw that. I remember when I came back from the States in 2020, and I started going throughout the Midwest. Every city, you'd see these apartments pop up everywhere. What was that? Who was paying for that? And what were they counting on? I think it was all pre-planned. It's been planned for some time. Let's get the housing, bring in the illegals at the same time, fill that housing with a bunch of illegals, and pay for their housing and make it free for them. Oh, Americans, no, they can go to hell. We're not going to help them. So that's been the attitude of the Biden administration. Just some real evil people there, real dark, real disgusting, and in every way. So that really is a nice segue into this next piece. Norm Eisen, I think, is one of the most disgusting guys maybe on this planet. Quite frankly, he's just dark as can be. And I wrote about him in my first book on the Steel, the Red Book. In the first chapter, I talked about the deep state. And when I did, I brought up Norm Eisen's name. It came from a piece by this Beatty from Revolver. He was on Tucker Carlson, and he mentioned that Norm Eisen was behind this color revolution overseas, maybe many, and he was then Barack Obama's ethics czar, and which meant everything but ethics, as we would think, a godliness. It was the opposite. And then he was behind the coup d'etat of the Trump administration, really his entire administration, the first one, and into the stolen election of 2020. He's still very active, and he was very active during the Biden years as well. Anyways, I noticed and I wrote about this in my first book. Uh, Beatty mentions Norm Eisen before the stolen election. A couple months after the election, actually after it had been stolen, Time Magazine comes out with this article, and who's the first person that they quote? None other than Norm Eisen. They're all in on. They're all a bunch of scoundrels, and Eisen didn't stop during Biden years. He actually picked it up, went after Trump, tried to. I believe him and Andrew Weissman were likely involved in every single one of those cases against Trump and against anybody else that they wanted to take down. And what happened was Eisen even helped out in this New York case that there's no crime. It's totally made up. There is no crime, and I think that's I don't know why the left does that. I guess they laugh about it at the end. They just love seeing somebody suffer when they haven't committed a crime, and then to even make up crimes on them, like Trump. They're trying to say Trump's in Mar-a-Lago's worth only like 18 million or something. The place it's a palace. That's such a lie. It's unbelievable. I've been there a number of times. It is a palace. And so that was a lie just to steal $500 million from Trump. This other the E. Jean Carroll case where she's claiming that Trump raped her, and this corrupt Clinton judge allows this thing to proceed. It was total garbage, and that lady's gotten millions. It's just total garbage from President Trump. This is the kind of people there who even thinks this stuff up. Only Nazis and fascists, the same people that are calling us good Americans, godly Americans, Christian Americans, Nazis. That's a tell-all, isn't it? Anyways, Norm Eisen was involved in the Mershon case as well, and went and attended the case, was there every day. Listen to this carefully, what he says in these couple short clips about the Mershon case. Just listen. You'll be shocked at what this, real sleazy. It's hard to listen to. He's such a sleazeball. I think he's so evil. I don't even want to see evil like this, but I want to point it out because, yeah, this is important to see what's going on from these guys, really straight from hell. So watch this.
We have a strong team, judge, prosecution team, very good defense team if Trump lets them do their job.
I thought today's proceedings, with the note coming out from the jury, and then while we were getting ready to answer the first note, we got a second jury request to have the legal instructions read back to them by the judge, which was an 80-minute adventure.
Well, if you listen to those, one thing that he started off in that first clip was he says, "We've got a great mix together, a team together. We got the judge." And then he pauses, he says, "Prosecutors," and the Trump team too. He was admitting that they had the judge in his pocket. Of course they did. The judge's family made millions of dollars during this case. It needs to be investigated. We've got a DOJ right now that's not doing a damn thing that we can all see. And other than the head of the DOJ appearing on Fox News about every night. So I'm not happy with that. I'm sorry. I'm to the point now. I don't. It's garbage. We've got so much work to do. We know so many crimes that have already been done, and I don't know what's happening. And I don't know if it's because the Senate hasn't approved all the people to get in place. I don't know. I don't know why people from the DOJ are still working there. They shouldn't. I don't know. But we've got to pray and we got to demand justice from our Justice Department. And so Norm Eisen, yeah, he's a piece of work. I think he should have been investigated and looked at a long time ago. So yeah, we got a lot of work to do. Anyways, here's here's something else too. This is just kind of bleeding upon what I was just saying. We don't need Pam Bondi going on TV and doing interviews. Right? As a matter of fact, I prefer not to see it. I'd like to see her in her office working on cases, strategy, and how to shut down the criminal forces that are attacking our government, and most importantly, get them out of her department. That's what she should be doing. But watch this piece.
Frankly, there's the broader issue of all these judges' injunctions, and then decisions like Judge Boasberg, what he's trying to do, and how that case is working. We're going to have hearings on all of that, because particularly when you look at Judge Boasberg, it starts to look like this is getting totally political from this guy. Particularly when you remember he's also the judge who was part of the whole Trump-Russia FISA court, granting those warrants that allowed the Comey FBI to spy on President Trump's campaign. So we're going to look at that issue as well. But hopefully we can get that bill passed next week on the House floor, move it to the Senate, hopefully get it to the president's desk.
What do you think you're going to find here? It seems to me like it's pretty black and white. You know, you go, you find the judge that's going to rule in your favor, and it's been going on for 20 plus years.
Yeah, that's why we want to limit it to just that jurisdiction, just the parties of the case, so it doesn't have nationwide implications. But yeah, there's the way the left operates. They go to these judges and they go after President Trump, as the speaker indicated, disproportionately more there than elsewhere. But with Judge Boasberg, think about this. I mean, I think the president, with his order on these gang members sending him back, or sending him to El Salvador, I think constitutionally he's on solid ground. Article 2, Section 1, first sentence, executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States. Statutorily, the Alien Enemies Act, predatory incursion, that's certainly what this was. Gang members coming here illegally doing terrible things. And then finally, you got this judge saying this crazy decision, turn the plane around, bring the bad guys back to America. That makes no sense. So when you
yeah, I'm asking Chris there to just kind of stop. Okay, enough. Jim Jordan, you know, you're a great wrestler, incredible wrestler, NCAA champ. Love that about you. Tough guy, still great, in great shape. Probably pound for pound the toughest guy in all of the legislature, maybe ever. And but you turned to milk toast as soon as you got in these leadership roles. We don't give a damn about some of that. We want stuff done. When I listen to you now, used to have you real high regard. Now you're lucky to be 50% because you don't get anything done, Jim. We're American people are suffering through this stuff, and you're playing with it, and eventually nothing gets done. So we're not interested in the talk. We want stuff done. Here's the same with Pam Bondi. Watch this.
Your words have consequences. And what happened after she said that about Elon Musk? She's a Texan in her own home state. After she said that, this morning, 3 explosive devices were found in Austin, Texas. So she needs to unequivocally denounce the violence. She must apologize immediately, not only to all Texans, but to our country, to the American shareholders of Tesla, because she is promoting violence. And then you showed the clip of what she said about Senator Cruz. I believe she probably will be censured by Congress for saying that. You know, people don't learn. She's using her public persona, her public platform, to increase her followers, to increase her significance, and she is threatening lives, safety. You know, when she did this at Tesla, Sean, people's lives are in danger. This is America. We're in a free country, and she's yet encouraging this violence in our country. Think of all the lives that could have been jeopardized in Texas just today by her words and what she's done. But she didn't stop with that. She continued on with Senator Cruz. She has to apologize immediately and denounce the violence.
I don't know about you guys. Maybe you're buying that. I'm just disgusted by that. I am so disgusted. She needs to denounce the violence. Who is she? That girl's not going to listen to her. What a joke. Arrest some people. That's all we want. Arrest the criminals. Put them behind bars at the very least. At least put them in jail. Do something. But don't go on Fox every night and just talk about this garbage that we all know. The American people have been suffering through years of a nightmare in our DOJ. And as far as we can see right now, and I'm really pray and hope that Pam Bondi's just putting on a show, and behind the scenes, massive work's being done. But I don't see a damn thing, and I'm not hearing about a damn thing. And like I said, we could put together, and I'm thinking about doing it, a list of 100 criminals that could be arrested right now, starting with Adam Schiff and working our way down: Pelosi, Obama, Biden, Hillary, James Comey. Start the list on the things we already know and put them behind bars. John Brennan, Clapper. These people are lying under oath at at least at the very least. It's unbelievable. We want action. I don't care about you talking about this young, stupid representative from Texas. None of us do. We want the real criminals arrested. Of course, this girl in Texas, she's got like a $9 million net worth now. That needs to be investigated, as well as all these criminals. But do something. Don't preach. Get off of TV and get things done. We are so, I'm frightened, quite frankly. I shared this on another show the other day I was invited on. I am frightened because there is only a limited amount of time for us to get anything done. And if you don't start getting on it now, this country's over. We lose this country. We don't fix our elections. We don't fix our DOJ. The country's done. We are done. And then we're talking communism and fascism. And you think that these animals will just be nice to us after they steal everything? Are you kidding me? Read history books. The communists never do that. The fascists kill you. They torture you. They burn you in freaking furnaces. These people are so sick and satanic. Get it together. That's how severe and serious this all is. Enough of my rant there, but let me mention one more thing before we go to break. Put a piece up or this morning. Been investigating some things that occurred in Wisconsin in the 2024 election. This is a breaking exclusive. Came out just moments ago before the show. And what we found is that there's this black curtain, and there's a picture of it there. It's in the background. This black curtain was where ballots were placed during the election of 2024. And yet observers were not allowed back there. And we don't know all that was happening there. But this is in Milwaukee. This is in the Central Count. It's a facility that's notorious for huge abuses, like in 2020, adding the 140,000 ballots offered Joe Biden at 4 a.m. That was coming out of Milwaukee, and that's where they process the absentee ballots. And we need to have full chain of custody on these things from start to finish. And that's just not happening. As a matter of fact, then the ballots are placed behind this black curtain. People are back there, but the observers aren't allowed. And that happened in this last election late at night. And we don't think anybody was there to protect the American people. And President Trump had already won by then, but the Senate race was still very much in play. And after that election, the Republican Navy SEAL loses to this, I think, whacknut lesbian in Wisconsin. I just don't believe it. It didn't happen. These numbers are so preposterous. There's so much fraud in our elections. It's just so broken. This is what I want to see Pam Bondi look into. I want our elections fixed. That's another huge example of just the fraud that's going on. So anyways, we're gonna jump to a break, but before we do, I want to bring something up. And that is one of the ads that we're going to be sharing here has to do with the Oxford Group. And I've been mentioning this in the show over the past few weeks. The Oxford Group has this vehicle that many of the smartest investors are actually participating in today. And it's not oil stocks, but it's oil royalties instead. And I'm talking about a passive income, residual income that shows up month after month with as little as a $25 investment. You can go to hoftoilboom.com to discover how to tap into these royalty checks from the most productive oil, at least one of America's most productive oil basins, in the country. So, you don't need to be wealthy. All you need to do is have a regular brokerage account, and that's how you can get this thing started. Again, go to hoftoilboom.com to learn more about how you can be collecting royalty checks off of this opportunity. So, we'll be mentioning that in the ads. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. Hi, this is Joe Hoft. Are you looking for monthly income without the risk of stocks? Here's something you won't hear about on CNBC. There's a unique way to collect royalties directly from America's most productive oil fields. No exploring, drilling, or operational headaches. You simply collect checks month after month. The best part? You can get started with just $25 through any brokerage account. The Oxford Club's chief income strategist, Mark Lechtenfeld, breaks down what he believes is the #1 royalty play for 2025. Visit hoftoilboom.com now to learn more. That's hoftoilboom.com, hoftoilboom.com. Stop buying oil stocks and start collecting oil royalty checks now instead.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honorbound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honorbound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act.
As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage.
We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honorbound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF. What is DCF, you ask? We're the best damn sandwich shop in the universe. Do we sell hoagies? Well, we're DCF, and the F doesn't stand for hoagies. We got 9mm sandwiches, we got beastly baguettes, and we toast buns like no other. Looking for training on bun safety? We got you covered, and our ranges are the best place to test out your new Not sandwich. So get your buns out, cause the sun's out, and let's party! We're not actually a sandwich shop.
Hey, we're back here on the Joe Hoft Show. So glad you are here. We've got a special guest. He's been with us before, and we're happy to have him back. I think we had him on before he was out of incarceration and right after. So it's a privilege and an honor to have a good friend and January 6er, Jake Lang with us today. Jake, welcome to the Joe Hoft Show.
Joe, my brother, good to see you, man. God is good. I'm free. Look at this. Out here in sunny Key West, Florida, at a little campaign stop here. Got some local business owners, restaurateurs here meeting up, doing some donations and talking about this amazing United States Senate run that I'm putting on for the Jan 6ers for our country. I think that there was a message we had to deliver to Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021. And I think that to complete that message, some of the people, the brave patriots that showed up that day, I believe should be inside the building, creating the next era, the golden era for America.
Oh, that'd be great. I think after what you've been through, you know firsthand how vicious this government can be if you know if in the wrong hands. And so you know we're so grateful you're out. We're so grateful you're free, and it looks pretty cool there. I guess you got the Jolly. I was going to say Jolly Rancher, but some Jolly ship behind you, Jolly Rover, behind you. That looks awesome. Yeah, a lot of people watching the show, I'm sure, thinking, man, I wouldn't mind being down in Key West with Jake right now. That's for sure.
Well,
so yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying, well, next time we do a little campaign stop here, we'll announce it, and you guys come on down and come charter boat fishing with us. It'll be great. I know you and Jim are down in Florida here, so we'll definitely link up soon. I'll be up in Vero Beach at our new studio for Blessed News Network, and my new show launches next week as well, called Golden Age. So that'll actually be on Untamed as well with your network there. So it'll be great.
Oh, that's great. That's good to hear. Yeah, not far from us either. So be great to catch up. As a matter of fact, I've been invited to some event, I think in May in Vero Beach, where Enrique Tarrio will be there. They're going to do some fundraising for him. So maybe we'll see you there as well. That'd be awesome.
I'll be there.
Yeah. By the way, before we jump into your Senate campaign, still so much to unwind and talk about from really January 6th moving forward. But and you've shared your story with us before, but maybe you could, for the people that don't know who you are, you could just give a short story of who is Jake Lang, how did you end up in DC on January 6th, what happened, and then what happened with your incarceration as well. If you don't mind, just that part of your story is important.
Sure, of course. Well, I mean, if you guys don't know me, my name is Jake Lang. I'm 29 years old. I turn 30 next week. Just in time, thick time for United States Senate campaign. On January 6, 2021, I was only 25 years old. I drove down from New York, being a longtime libertarian and, advocate for gun rights in New York City, which we don't have. It is a communist Marxist state there. But drove down with a group from Chabad. I'm Jewish by bloodline and Christian by the Spirit of God, knowing Jesus Christ. So I came down with a large group of Jewish Trump supporters out of New York City. We protested the stolen election. We prayed. We were standing together, unified with Asian Americans and Latin Americans and black and white and Spanish. It was amazing. The different parts of America that were represented at the Capitol that day. There was some odd like 1 million people there. And while we were protesting the stolen election and asking our state legislators or our federal legislators to send the votes back down to the state legislation to get a recount, the unspeakable happened. I was attacked by my own government. 4 people died. Rubber bullets were flying, tear gas, pepper balls, concussion grenades. And basically, the Democrats used the violence at the Capitol that day in order to recreate a narrative to tell the American people that the Jan 6ers, Donald Trump and his supporters are all violent domestic terrorists. And we went through 4 years of Donald Trump almost being incarcerated, myself remaining in prison for 1,467 days, the entire presidency of Joe Biden. And I was just recently liberated almost 2 months ago to the day by President Trump when God had moved a mountain in my life and for all the Jan 6ers. And, during those many years of incarceration, I've seen some horrible things. I went through some things that are unspeakable. Definitely cruel and unusual punishment, 900 days solitary confinement, 1.5 years without a family visit, 20 months without a shave or a haircut, no religious services, no legal library, no direct sunlight for months at a time or fresh air. And so, these are the things. We're not here to complain. We're here to just tell the American people the truth. It was God who got us through. We were stronger than their most vicious, cruel tactics and psychological warfares. God made us stronger. So, now we're here, ready to reclaim our country and make America the land of free and the home of the brave again.
Yeah, your story and many others just really tear at my heart. I can't believe our country did it. I love it how you just said that. they had stolen an election. There was no way this election was certifiable. I'm a professional auditor, done audits around the world, done audits in communist China. They gave me everything I ever asked for so I could make a valid opinion. Not so in our election process anymore. The chain of custody, everything's broke, and we all pretend, or we don't, but Americans are waking up. These elections are not safe, secure. They're not full of integrity by any means. And we had every right to protest that election because it was a joke beyond belief with the ballots flying everywhere. We could go through a list of things, or you could just read my books and go through them there. But it was a mess. And you guys show up along with 1 million people, and you get just stuck in the wrong spot. I'm curious. I've had a couple guys here on my show, a couple January 6ers, 3 of them that I can think of right offhand. Enrique, Stuart Rhodes, and another, who all mentioned that the DOJ came and were basically threatening them with to lie. And in a couple of these guys' cases, it was to lie and say that President Trump had ordered you, and you were working with President Trump to institute and do this insurrection, they called it, which was all a lie. And yet they knew that was a lie. And yet they were saying, well, you can get 20 years, or we'll give you 2 years if you work with us. Was anything like that ever put on the table for you during your time incarcerated?
Well, I had one scenario that kind of is similar as far as when I first was arrested, right? I was arrested January 16, 2021, 10 days after January 6th. Donald Trump was actually technically still president, albeit only for, just a handful of days. But he was also currently battling at that time the second impeachment sham hearing. And I was given some type of backroom notice through my attorney that if I was willing to testify at the second impeachment hearing, that I would be bonded out, I'd be given a sweetheart deal, it would all go good for me. And of course, I told my attorney, I said, you tell those people to shove it where the sun don't shine. We would never turn our back on Trump. He did not orchestrate January 6th. He was just as flabbergasted and caught off guard by the Capitol Police and the Metropolitan Police just randomly shooting into an open crowd and turning, what was all a group of his supporters into, people fending for their lives. So, of course, I would never do that. And, after that, I was immediately superseded. I went from 4 charges to 8 to 12. And then we beat them in Supreme Court, and they superseded me again, just replacing my felony. So this is the type of lawfare they do, to American, patriots and conservatives, when you're not willing to bend the knee, show contrition, break your resolve, or in any way compromise your integrity. They're going to point you out specifically to try to make you an example, either an example of somebody that's willing to play ball and kiss the ring, or an example of somebody, this is what happens when you don't kiss the ring. We're going to supersede you. We're going to punish you. We're going to double down on our investigations and indictments. So yes, I also went through a very similar scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you recall what exactly they wanted you to say? Was it that specific, or was
that
it
Donald
just
Trump specifically had given instruction? They wanted me to be like, you remember that female, the young lady that was inside the beast and said that she saw Trump lunge for the,
Oh, yeah.
They wanted me to just be another face there saying Donald Trump had told us that we needed to fight for our country and blah, blah, blah. They just wanted us to spin and twist his words and contort it and make it look like he had, made the crowd do what, defend themselves, not do what they did, but it was just a defensive reaction. But anyway, no, they didn't have any like grand conspiracy saying that Trump had, priorly known me in order to do it, but they just wanted like a rank and file person to say, I went to the Capitol because Donald Trump told me I need to fight for my country, and that's why I did what I did. And, we went to the Capitol for the reasons of the election being stolen, and that's a constitutional duty of our country, of men and women, to stand against such a thing. So, I think we'll be vindicated very soon. I think Donald Trump will put together a official 2020 election commission, get down to the heart of the fraud, by God's grace, and then the Jan 6ers will be completely vindicated as patriots instead of, violent extremists or whatever they want to call us.
Yeah, I know. It's been terrible what you guys have gone through. It's just so it's I don't know if it's ever been so dark in our country as that. We had a civil war that was pretty brutal, and certainly the years before the revolution and the Indian Wars and things like that. But man, this stuff you guys went through, that was, and the whole country, Jake, the whole country was, you guys were facing it in prison every day, and there were others outside that were facing, lawfare and various activities outside of prison that it was just really a dark and dangerous time. So it's such a miracle.
So glad
Trump
we made
won.
it out, man.
Man, I'm
And we
telling
have
you,
to give you, Joe, so much love and credit, the January 6th community and, the larger MAGA movement for your fidelity, your stern, approach you were like an immovable force, man. It was great. It was really great to have you, your brother, Joe Oltman, and everybody at Untamed and from old school conservative daily podcast. And, this crew that we were able to make in the midst of, it was like a storm. It's like we built a ship while out on the water, but it was seaworthy and it got us home.
oh man. Yeah, thank God, and thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Yeah, these were some, challenging times. I remember inauguration night, 10 o'clock. The announcement comes, President Trump has pardoned all you guys. And we were having a party in DC, and the place just erupted. And a couple of January 6ers were there. They started crying. It was just an emotional moment. It was really great. And by the way, how did you hear about it? Did you know that night?
So actually, I was watching the election news, as far as anybody could watch it with pretty much the most on the line in the country, me, my family, and the other Jan Sixers. We were dialed in, and I had to lock down eventually. I couldn't get a clear view of the TV, but I was able to text my fiance on the little tablet they gave us. And, we were within 1 minute, she was giving me all the states reporting. And as we got locked down at like 11 o'clock that night, they let us stay out a little late. The results were starting to look really good. And so we were just ready for the official, like 1:30 or whatever. It officially came down. And I started to just throw everything in my room. I was going like a chimpanzee, man, just amazed, so ready to leave the cage that I'd been stuck in for 4 years
Wow.
at that point. And so, this was just, I recognized God's hand immediately. Honestly, that was the first thing I really did, is that I gave glory to God. I just started to pray and to worship, and, his hand was with us so often and so strong when we didn't have the strength to stand on our own 2 feet. His hand had been pulling on us, and I know that my Lord saw our hearts, not just mine, not just the Jan Sixers, but the millions of people that prayed and supported for us. He just said in his heart, these people have called upon my name, and I promise them in my word that if they call on my name, I shall never forsake the righteous, nor his seed shall be begging bread. And so he came through on his promises. Donald Trump got his post-campaign slogan, promises made, promises kept. He got that from the word of God, because he's the one that always keeps his promises. And so, my God in heaven kept this promise to me from day one, that he was not going to allow me to see the degradation of my character and of my country from behind bars in a prison cell, that he would say, I'm going to use you, Jake, just be patient. And so I said, how patient you want me to be? 900 days solitary. I said, Lord, my patience is getting pretty strong here. I think I'm ready to go. And he said, okay, let's go.
Yeah, great. Hey, you've had some big things happen, not just over the last few months, but even in the past week, right? Big news in the Jake Lang world.
Oh, yeah. Well, by God's grace, my family's coming together here. My fiance, Rachel Myers, who is also a Jan Sixer. Well, now she's my official fiance. We've been together for years while I was incarcerated. She stuck by my side. I just proposed to her out on the back of a beautiful old yacht. It's actually General Patton's yacht. And, that they rent out here. And it was just such a great time. And God's grace, is so evident in my life. If you think that miracles can't happen, I got pardoned by Trump, married to the woman of my dreams, almost, engaged, and running for U.S. Senate. Look at this. This is the blessings of God. Just real life. It's tangible. I'm feeling them.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, I've got a clip here. It's about 1 minute long. It's some other big news coming from you. It was from a couple weeks ago. Let me play that real quick, and then we can talk about that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
1776 is back, America. Hello, my name is Jake Lang. I'm a January 6th political prisoner that was recently pardoned by President Trump. We want to thank the president sincerely for freeing us from Biden's disgusting gulags. January 6th was a day when free men stood up against tyranny, and our founding fathers would have been shoulder to shoulder with us. Patriots sacrificed 4 years of our lives for this country, and I will not let that sacrifice be in vain. The weaponized DOJ, the FBI, Gestapo, and the deep state regime conspired to silence us. They tried to destroy President Trump and persecute all of his supporters, and I will never allow that to happen again. It was God who got me through the gulags, and it's God who's going to make America great again. January 6th was a cry for change, and I am that change. The tree of liberty is thirsty, America. We may have won the 2024 election, but the revolution has just begun. We're going back to the Capitol, and this time as your next elected officials and lawmakers. Florida, vote for me for United States Senate. My name is Jake Lang, and I approve this message. Fight,
That's pretty-
fight.
That's pretty impressive. That's really, really cool. So, running for U.S. Senate now in the great state of Florida.
Yes. Well, I think that individual policies and what we went through, wanting to end the weaponization of government, all those things matter so much. But there's something that's more significant even than that. Is that Donald Trump has promised to bring our country into a golden era, right? And in order for that to happen, we need to end the previous era, which has been scarred and marred by people like Mitch McConnell, weak-kneed, feckless, uniparty senators that have made the Republican Party this limp-wristed, compromised entity. And so Donald Trump's, taking over the executive branch is amazing. But we have two other branches of government that are just as powerful, that are completely off the haywire, off the rails right now. The judicial branch needs complete reformation. I mean, we know that. Judges need to be impeached. Prosecutors need to be fired and disbarred so they don't just switch to another, district or something. But we also have our legislative branch, and the Republican Party's leadership, especially in the United States Senate, has been so underwhelming, so weak, and just, it's like spineless jellyfish there. And so by Florida, the most MAGA state in the country, where they, conservative Hollywood here, the new conservative Hollywood. I was just down at the Breakers meeting Fox News executives and Mar-a-Lago members and stuff, and it's just like the heartbeat of the conservative movements here in Florida, the boat parades, Donald Trump's headquarters, it's all right here. And so for Florida to send a message to the rest of the country, to send a young firebrand, former political prisoner, one of the leaders of this movement to take back our country from inside of a prison cell, if we send Jake Lang, myself right here, into the halls of the Senate, it'll end officially. It'll mark the end of an era of that Jeb Bush, Paul Ryan, just uniparty rhinos. And it'll mark the beginning of the reformation, the complete change and the regrowth of the Republican Party and really of the golden age of America. And so that's what I'm running for. That's why God put it in my heart to run, not just to go have some great policies and, and be a man of integrity there, but it's really, truly something more overarching. I think that is historic as far as a former political prisoner right here in America, just a couple miles from the United States Capitol, being held in solitary confinement for years, now going back to the Capitol in order to take back our country and to give a new grassroots, we the people, 1776 founding father style version of the leadership that is so desperately needed in the United States Senate. And that's why I'm running for that. There's parental rights issues here in Florida that people are, they're out of their minds about. They don't want their children being indoctrinated. We have some incredibly high hurricane and flood insurance costs that are ruining property values here. We have lots of policies, including wanting to turn Florida into the crypto capital of the world. That's one of my campaign promises, to bring all that business in, all that AI technology, all that crypto tech, and bring it and make Florida the hotbed for that. as well as podcasting, because right now you're seeing some of the most major podcasts in the world being run out of Florida. And so we want to make policies and laws and give breaks to businesses and people that are focused on those next generational industries. And those are great, but we have bigger problems. And the biggest problem we could have in our country is rhinos remaining in power. And when Donald Trump leaves office, they just crawl right back out of their dens and they take back over and make DC the swamp again. So we're here to drain the swamp and complete the mission of Donald Trump and make America great again.
Yeah, fantastic, Jake. Sounds really, really great. I got one quick question before we go, and I don't know if it's quick or not, but I've been frustrated with the work to date coming out of the FBI, DOJ. I expected more arrests by now. I expected just more. What's your feeling?
You guys remember that old movie with Chris Farley when he's standing and screaming at the person in his suit and they're sitting on the couch, and they repurposed that meme and they put Pam Bondi sitting on the couch and Chris Farley screaming in her ear, "Just arrest somebody." I feel it's so necessary. It's like a deep necessity in my bones for the healing circle to, finish here in America, where the political prisoners are gone and the corrupt, wicked, violent politicians and pedophiles are in prison. But there is something that's important. The Federal Department of Justice is known for having Loctite air. That's why the 98% conviction rate. That's what happens when the feds pick you up, because they usually take years creating criminal cases and getting witnesses and flipping people and building these cases that are, impenetrable. So maybe they're returning to their old ethics. Instead of arresting somebody like me 10 days after January 6th, keeping them in pretrial detention for 4 years in order to find evidence and build a case, maybe, just maybe, they're doing their jobs again and building the cases and securing the proper indictments and criminal complaints, and then arresting these people. For me, it seems like it's pretty obvious that a lot of these people are malfeasant criminals and they should be arrested on the spot with the evidence we currently have. But maybe, just maybe, they're actually doing their jobs again and ensuring convictions instead of just mass arrests. You can always just arrest somebody and then build a case on them, but that's not American justice. That's not the way our country's supposed to work. So, I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt, and I probably am the person that should give people the least benefit of the doubt after what I went through. But I'm praying that we get not just arrests, but convictions and lifelong sentences. If we just start perp walking people just because, the conservative ex-influencer media crowd is pressuring the Department of Justice into doing that, but then we raided people wrong. We didn't respect their Fourth Amendment rights to secure paperwork. We didn't get the right, search warrants and stuff. We need everything to be lock, stock, and barrel. We can't afford a single mistake. These people are really, really horrible, demonic people, and they cannot be out amongst us walking in public any longer. We're all in danger. So I'm praying that the arrests start coming in the next couple months, or else, we're going to need Ivan Raikland to inform his citizens, sheriffs, coalition, deep state target list. We're going to have to deal with matters like the founding fathers would have, bad people need to go to jail. Bottom line.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for that. That's a nice, honest response as well. Hey, Jake, best of luck. We'll have to have you back soon, and congratulations as well. And congratulations also on, being out of that nightmare scenario in DC. We're glad you're out, and we're glad you're here. Can't wait to see you again.
Thank you, guys. If you guys want to support the Senate campaign, the website is takebackthecapital.com, takebackthecapital.com. If you want to donate to the Jan Sixers, we're still helping out guys get their lives back together. They're, some of them are still unfortunately living like month to month in like extended stay motels. They don't have cars yet. A lot of needs in our community, and that's j6rebuild.com. So donate to our campaign, takebackthecapital.com, and j6rebuild.com to help the Jan Sixers. Thank you so much, Joe. We love you, brother.
Thanks,
God
bud.
bless you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And appreciate
Bye.
That's great, Jake. Hey, thanks for coming on, and we've got another great show lined up again tomorrow. So thank you for visiting us. Thank you for Jake Lang joining us, and we will see you tomorrow.